Hello, welcome back to Animated Literacy. This is lesson number 83 from the Story Song and Action book. In our last lesson, we learned about a girl named Joy, whose favorite story was The Wizard of Oz, and her favorite character was the Tin Man. And so she got a toy Tin Man, just like the one in the story. And just like the one in the story, his joints got rusty and they got squeaky and stiff. So Joy had to use an oil can on her toy's joints to stop the squeaks. So I have a metal oil can here, kind of an old-fashioned one. And in order to make that oil can stop the squeaks, you have to get the oil to come to squirt out the spout. So you take and you push on the bottom of the can with your thumbs like this. So if you take that oil can and you pump your thumbs up and down like this, the oil can come squirting out of here and stop the squeaks. So Joy's gesture or action for her sound is oiling. So put your hands together like this, move your thumbs up and down, and go oi again. Oi. And Joy can spell her sound two different ways. She can spell it with either an OY or with an OI. So let's play a little bit with Joy's sound. If Joy eats a plum instead of in the middle, what would her sound be? Oi, and the plum would become what? Ploim. Can you say that? Ploim. And if Joy eats a donut, and now you get to use her sound twice, it's going to be this. Ready? Doinoit. Doinoit. So she eats what? Ploims and doinoits. And if we put that into apples and bananas, what's this going to sound like? Joy likes to oit, 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 ploims and doinoits. Joy likes to oit, 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 ploims and doinoits. Now if we put Eve leaping instead, and she's going ee over her trees with her squeaky sound, and it's important with squeaks because that's going to be in our story today. Eve likes to oit. Oh, she doesn't oit. What does she do? Eve likes to eat, 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 pleams and de-neats. Eve likes to eat, 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 pleams and de-neats. Now we're going to have Irving because the oil has to squirt. And so his sound is in there. And what's he doing? Turning his wheel and going, "Er." So if we use Irving, it's going to be, Irving likes to ert, 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 plurms and dernerts. Irving likes to ert, 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 plurms and dernerts. So you can do a lot of playing with that sound and have fun. So we're going to take a look now at some things that we can draw that use Eve's or Joy's sound and her spelling. So our first one, we'll do a mystery draw. So I won't tell you what we're drawing. So take out your paper and let's start with two eyes. So I'm going to make two circles for eyes. Let's add pupils with a dot in each circle. Add a nose with a curve, and we can go pretty fast now because you've done this many times. Add a curve for the mouth. Now the eyes, sometimes we draw them too far up in the head, but they're really just about in the middle of the head. So come way up, make your circle come around, and now my eyes are pretty close to the middle of the head. Now let's give him some hair. So we can come down here and up to a part, come down here, and there's his hair. Give him a couple little curves for ears. Now we'll give him a triangle for his neck. Show me when you're ready for his shoulders. We'll come out here with the shoulder and down, come in an angle a little bit. Same thing on this side, down, in an angle a bit. And then we'll add his torso. So there's his shirt. And let's go ahead and add his pants and his shoes. So let's come on down Make a line in the center, give him a couple shoes. Now we can give him a curve for a pocket and a curve for a pocket. Now what's he missing? He doesn't have any arms, does he? So we need to add some arms. So this time I'm going to come kind of straight out of his shirt like this. And then we're going to have his hand so his index finger is pointing down like this. So I'm going to give him a long index finger and then kind of back up here to his fist. Then his other arm, we can just start from the top of the pocket and angle out and back up, and then from the bottom of the pocket out and back up. Now, we drew a picture of something that has Joy's sound in it. Oi! What's one way to spell her sound? O-Y. So let's come over here and let's make an O and then make a Y. And what's our sound for O-Y? Oi! What could this be that we just drew that ends with oi? A boy. What does boy start with? B for bowing. So let's put a B at the front. Put our circle around boy and tie the string to the boy. Now we need to do something with this hand. Why has it got that finger hanging out there like that? Let's put a little string on it. And then from that string, let's come down a little bit. Now at the end of the string, let's put a circle, then put another circle inside. Then we can kind of widen it a little bit and add a line. So what is he doing? He's playing with a yo-yo. Well, what could we call that yo-yo that has oi in it? Let's write oi again. So I can put my O and my Y. So there's oi. Now what can we call that ends with oi? What if we put a T in front of it? Now what word did we write? Oi. What is that? A toy. So a yo-yo is a toy that our boy is playing with. Now in our last lesson I showed you some tin men that the children in my classroom drew, and I showed you how they all turned out different, but they all turned out really neat. Now look at this one, how his head is kind of on a spring. We're going to kind of do that, and we're going to call that a coil. So let's see how we're going to draw that tin man. Let's come back up here again, and just like we did for our boy, we're going to start with 2 circles for eyes. So make your 2 circles. Then add your dot for the pupil. Now we're going to give him some eyebrows. So I'm going to give him an angle line on this side on this eye, and another angle line here. Now we're going to start his nose. Now his nose isn't going to look anything like our boy's nose. It's going to start out looking almost like Pinocchio's. We're just going to make a long straight line like that. Then at the end of that straight line, we're going to put a small circle, and then we're going to angle out a little bit like this. So there's his nose. Now we need to draw his head. So we're going to start his head with just a curved line up above his eyes. Then we're going to make his mouth here with just a curved line underneath that long nose. Now his jaw has to go up and down, but remember he's made out of tin. So we're going to give him a joint here with a circle and another circle. Then we're going to angle down a bit and then connect those at the bottom. Then we're going to take and come from here down, from here down. Now for his hat, our tin man is wearing what's called a funnel. A funnel is something that is narrow on the one end and wide on the other end. So if you're trying to fill a bottle that has a very narrow opening, you can stick the funnel into the bottle and pour into the funnel, and it'll keep everything from spilling. So to make our funnel, we're going to come up like this. Then we're going to come up this way. And then we're going to put a little circle up here. So that's what you can pour your things into, okay? Now let's come back down here. I think I'll just add another line there for his chin. Now I told you his head was going to be on a coil. And this is a coil. And this is also a coil so that his head can bob up and down. So we're going to come down from here and then kind of go around like this, like this. It almost looks like you can screw it in, but it's going to be a coil like I just showed you, like the spring. Okay, now we're going to make his body. Now his body is made out of a tin can, so we're just going to come straight out like this. Then we're going to come down like this, curve along here, and then go to the middle and draw a straight line down. Now he has these rivets holding him together, and it's kind of like metal screws. So you can draw some like that, and if you want to make them into screws, you could just put a line in each one, so you can use a screwdriver to screw him together. Okay, now let's see how we're going to make his arms. For his arms, he needs a joint. So I'll make a kind of a curve that way, and then inside it we'll make another one. So there's one joint, and then the same thing on the other side. Now this one is going to cut, his arm's going to come out like this. Then we'll give him a joint here. And now his arm's going to curve up like this. Now he's holding something in his arm. So we're going to make a handle like that. Now what could that be that he's holding? He's a woodsman. So what does he need to work in the woods? He needs an axe. So we're going to give him an axe that looks like that he can chop with. So he can go chop, chop, chop on things. Then his other arm, he can just come down, down, and in. Now he needs his legs. So we'll come down like this. Make an arrow, and that's like a joint for his knee. Come down like this. There's another arrow for his joint for his knee. And we kind of ran out of room for his feet, but that's okay. If you have room on your paper, you can make his feet come around like this. And I'll just make mine so he's got pretty short legs. So there's my Tin Man. So let's write Tin Man. Say tin. What did you hear first? T. T for tickling. What's next in Tin Man? T. I for itching. Comes next. Tin. N for nibbling. Now we need to write man. Man. What's first? M for moving your magic mop. What's next? Ma. A for adding. And what comes last? Man. N for nibbling. So now he's a Tin Man, so let's put that in a circle. But now what kind of a Tin Man is he? Is he a real Tin Man? If he's Joy's, he's what? A toy Tin Man. So what's the first sound in toy? T. T for tickling. What's the next sound? Oi! And this time, just like we did here, and just like we did here, how are we going to spell it? With an O. And a Y. So what kind of a Tin Man is he? He's a toy Tin Man. Okay, now what did we make his neck out of? His neck was a coil, which is kind of like a spring. So let's try writing the word coil. Everybody say coil. What do you hear first in coil? K, coil. C for catching. What do you hear next? Koi. Oi for oiling. O-I. And what do you hear next in coil? What comes last? Coil. Coil. The L for laying on lemon leaves. So now let's put the coil in a circle and tie his neck, because what is his neck? His neck is made out of a coil. Okay, well, let's try something else. If you reach in your pocket and you pull out some hard things to buy food and things with, you might pull out a quarter, you might pull out a nickel, you might pull out a penny, and those are all called what? Let's see what they're called. Let's put an O and an I. What did we just learn as our sound for O-I? Oi! Oi! Let's put an N at the end. Now if we put that together, what do we have? Oin. Oin. What could you take out of your pocket and hand to somebody to pay for things? What could that be called? Let's put a C in front of it and find out. What's catching? K. Now if we put that together with oin, what do we have? K. Oin. Coin. So we're just going to draw a real simple coin. So for my coin, I'm just going to make a circle. And in my circle, I'm going to put a number that tells how many pennies that coin is worth. So let's see how much my coin's going to be. Straight line, and then a curve, and then a little hat. And then for cents, the sign for cents is a C with a line through it. So that says 5 cents. So what kind of a coin did I draw? What coin is worth 5 cents? A nickel is worth 5 cents. So I can tie my string there. Now, his tin can had to have what in it to squirt onto his joints to stop them from squeaking? Let's find out. First, let's draw the can. Let's make a straight line here. So there's the bottom of my tin can. Then let's come up with a curve here and a curve here, and come up with another curve. And then we're going to make a spout with a little curve at the end. So there's my can, and what is in my can? Oil. Say oil. What do you hear first? Oi. So let's put an O and an I. What do you hear next? Oil. Oil. What do you hear on the end? Whoa. L for laying on lemon leaves. So there's our oil that Joy can use for squirting on the joints of the Tin Man so that he doesn't what? So that he doesn't squeak anymore. Well, let's see what kind of a song we can put that in today. Here's a song that we have sung and played with many times. It goes like this.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, 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 round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all around the town.
Now we're going to have
the hat on the man goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The hat on the man goes up and down, all around the town.
And now we have a cat. What's his tail going to do?
The tail on the cat goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The tail on the cat goes back and forth, all around the town.
So now I set up a paper so that we can write 2 verses to the wheels on the bus, but about our Tin Man. And I already put in some of the words for you to look at, so you can rainbow write over those words on your paper. Or if you want to change them to other words, you could get a paper that doesn't have them filled in and put your own words. So let's see how we can rewrite the wheels on the bus and use some of our sounds from our drawing lesson. Ready? So first, what does the Tin Man have that was squeaking? Joints. And so the joints on the Tin Man were squeaking. So we need to write the word the joints. What sound do you hear first in joints? J, J, J for juggling. So make a J on your page. What's the next sound you hear in joints? Joints, joy. So there's Joy's sound. And this time we're going to spell it with O-I. So she can spell it either with O-I or O-Y. What do you hear next? Joints. Joints. Nibbling for Nellie. So write Nellie's letter N. What do you hear next? Joint. Joints. Joints. T for tickling. And you have more than one. So if you change joint to joints, what do you have to put on the end? An S to show there's more than one. And then I went ahead and added on. So let's read what we've got so far. Put your finger under it. The joints on the... What is the Tin Man? Joy's Tin Man is what? He's a toy. So we're going to write the word toy there. Everybody say toy. What do you hear first? T for tickling. The joints on the toy. What do you hear last? Oi. Toy. And how did we spell that when we did our drawing? With an O and a Y. So there's toy. So put your finger and let's read what we got so far. The joints on the toy go squeak, 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 squeak. And this has Quentin Quayle's sound in it and Eve's sound in it, like we worked on in just some recent lessons. The joints on the toy go squeak, 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 squeak. The joints on the toy go squeak, 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 all around the... Where did Joy play with her toy? In her house. So I wrote in the word house already. So now let's go down to here and let's see what Joy did to fix the joints. What did she do to stop the joints from squeaking? She put oil on them. So we've got the oil. Let's write the word oil in there. Let's start with our O and our I for oi. And then what does oil end with? Oh, oil, laying on lemon leaves. The oil, now the oil is where? It's not on the can, it's where? It's in the can. The oil in the, and I went ahead and added can there. The oil in the can went squirt, squirt, squirt. So as she's pumping her thumbs, what's the oil doing? It's squirting out of the can. Squirt, 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 squirt. The oil in the can goes squirt, 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 and stops all the, what does it stop? It stops all the squeaks. And so here we've got squeaks. Now, do you see a mistake that I made there? I put the word the 2 times instead of 1 time. So what can we do about that? Let's just cross out one of the thes. So it's okay if you make mistakes. You can always cross things out, change things, and authors do that all the time when they're writing. When I'm writing, I make mistakes and I have to go back and cross it out or erase it or delete it on the computer and change it to something else. So we only need the word the once. So let's do our whole song. Ready? The joints on the toy go squeak, 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 squeak. The joints on the toy go squeak, 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 all around the house. Now how are we going to stop them? The oil in the can goes squirt, 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 squirt. The oil in the can goes squirt, 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 and stops all the squeaks. Okay, what are you going to have up here? You're going to have a toy Tin Man. And what does a toy Tin Man have that squeaks? Joints on your toy Tin Man. And you're going, where's the Tin Man going to be? A house. So you need a picture of a house. And what are you going to do to stop the squeaks? Use your oil. So you're going to need a picture of your oil can. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson today and have fun rewriting and drawing pictures to illustrate our song. And in our next lesson, we'll learn another new character so we can even learn to draw and label and read and write some more words. So I hope to see you then. Thank you for joining me.